It is 9:30 on a Thursday evening in October 1978. You are standing at the corner of Gorky Street and Pushkin Square in Moscow. The temperature has dropped to 4 degrees Celsius. Your breath makes small clouds in the air. The street lamps have been on for 2 hours now, casting their particular Soviet yellow. Not the warm amber of European cities, not the harsh white of American highways, but something in between, a color that belongs only to these streets. The pavement beneath your feet is uneven. Concrete slabs laid in 1953, some of them cracked, some of them replaced in patches that do not quite match. You can feel the cold rising through the soles of your shoes. Around you, the city is not silent, but it is quiet in a way that Western cities are not quiet at this hour. There is no hum of neon. There are no illuminated shop windows. The storefronts along Gorky Street are dark, their metal shutters pulled down and locked. The State Department store closed at 8. The bakery closed at 7. The pharmacy will remain open until 10, its single window glowing pale green. You hear footsteps. A woman in a dark wool coat passes you, walking quickly, a string bag hanging from her wrist. The bag is empty now, but you can see the impression of its earlier weight in the way she carries her arm. She does not look at you. In the street, a Moskvich sedan rolls past, its engine loud in the cold air, its headlights cutting 2 yellow tunnels through the October dark. Then a bus, the number 10, headed north toward the Belorusky station. Its windows are fogged. You can see the shapes of passengers inside, standing, holding the rails. The smell of the city at this hour is specific. Coal smoke from the heating plants. Diesel exhaust. Wet leaves decomposing in the gutters. Somewhere nearby, someone is frying onions. The smell drifts from an open window 3 floors above the street. You cannot see the window, but you can smell the onions, and beneath that, the faint sourness of boiled cabbage. There are people on the street, but not many. A man in a flat cap and a quilted work jacket stands near the metro entrance, smoking a cigarette. He holds it between his thumb and forefinger, cupped against the wind. 2 young men in leather jackets walk past, speaking in low voices. One of them laughs, a short, sharp sound that carries in the cold air and then disappears. An elderly woman sits on a bench near the square, a scarf tied under her chin, her hands folded in her lap. She is not waiting for anyone. She is simply sitting. The metro entrance is a wide staircase descending into the earth. Even from here, you can feel the warmth rising from below, warmer than the street, warmer than the air. A man emerges from the stairs, his face flushed from the heat of the tunnels. He buttons his coat as he reaches the surface. The metro will run until 1 in the morning. Until then, the stairs will swallow people and release them, a slow rhythm that does not stop. Across the street, the facade of a building rises 5 stories, its windows mostly dark. On the 3rd floor, a single window is lit. You can see the edge of a curtain, pale blue, and behind it, the flicker of a television. The television is showing the evening news. You cannot hear it from here, but you know what it is showing because it is Thursday. And on Thursday, the evening news begins at 9 and ends at 9:30, and it is always the same. A report from a factory in the Urals, a speech by a member of the Politburo, footage of a new hydroelectric dam. The wind picks up. It comes from the north, from the direction of the river, and it carries with it the smell of water and rust. You pull your coat tighter. The wool is heavy, Soviet-made, dyed a dark gray that is almost black. It does not keep out the cold as well as it should, but it is what you have. A tram approaches from the south, its bell ringing twice as it slows for the stop. The sound is bright and metallic, older than the tram itself. The tram is painted red and cream, though the cream has faded to the color of old paper. It stops. 3 people get off. No one gets on. The tram waits for 30 seconds, then moves forward again, its bell ringing once more as it enters the intersection. You begin to walk. The street ahead is called Ulica Kirova, though it was called something else before the revolution, and no one you know remembers what. The pavement is uneven. Concrete slabs laid in the 1950s have shifted with the freeze and thaw of 40 winters, and the gaps between them are filled with compacted dirt and cigarette butts. You step over a puddle that has frozen at its edges. The ice is thin and white, like paper. In the center, the water is still liquid, dark and still. To your left is a row of 5-story apartment blocks, identical in design. They are called Khrushchevkas, named after the premier who ordered them built. Each block is faced with pale yellow stucco that has cracked in long vertical lines. The windows are small and square, and behind most of them a light is on. You can see the glow of a television in one window, the silhouette of a woman hanging laundry in another. The balconies are narrow and cluttered. Bicycles, wooden crates, rolled carpets stored for the winter. On one balcony, someone has left a pair of boots to air out. They are black rubber, the kind worn in factories. You pass a bench. It is made of wood and iron, painted green, though the paint has peeled away in places to reveal older layers, blue, then gray, then the bare metal beneath. An old man sits at one end of the bench. He wears a wool cap pulled low over his ears and a coat that is too large for him. His hands are in his pockets. He does not look at you as you pass. He is looking at the street or at nothing. You cannot tell which. Ahead, on the corner, is a producti, a grocery store. The windows are fogged from the inside, and through the fog you can see the shapes of people moving. The door is wooden, painted brown, and it opens outward. A woman comes out carrying a string bag. Inside the bag are a loaf of black bread, a jar of something in brine, and 3 potatoes. She adjusts the bag on her shoulder and walks in the direction you came from. The door swings shut behind her. It does not latch properly, and a moment later it swings open again, just a few centimeters, letting out a wedge of warm air that smells of cabbage and floor wax. You continue walking. The street curves slightly to the right, following the line of the old riverbank, though the river itself is 2 blocks away now, hidden behind warehouses and a rail yard. The sound of the tram has faded. In its place is the sound of your own footsteps, the distant hum of a truck on the main road, and the faint creak of a sign swinging in the wind. The sign is metal, painted white with red Cyrillic letters. It says Apteka, pharmacy. The pharmacy is closed. It has been closed since 6 o'clock. The windows are dark, and behind the glass you can see shelves lined with brown bottles and white boxes, all of them identical from this distance. A dog trots past you on the opposite side of the street. It is medium-sized, brown and white, with no collar. It moves with purpose, as if it knows where it is going. It does not look at you. Street dogs are common here. They live in the spaces between buildings, in the basements of construction sites, in the alleys behind the bakeries. This one disappears around the corner, and you do not see it again. You reach a small square. It is not a square in the formal sense. There is no fountain, no monument, no benches arranged in a circle. It is simply a widening of the street where two roads meet. In the center of this widening is a kiosk. The kiosk is made of wood and metal, painted blue, with a small window at the front and a sloped roof. It sells cigarettes, matches, newspapers, and kvass in the summer. Now, in winter, it is closed. A padlock hangs from the window shutter. Someone has written something on the side of the kiosk in chalk, but the rain has blurred it, and you cannot read what it says. Beyond the square, the street narrows again. The buildings here are older. They are 3 stories tall, built of brick, with high windows and iron balconies that jut out over the sidewalk. The brick is dark red, almost brown, and the mortar between the bricks has crumbled in places. On the ground floor of one building is a repair shop. Radios, televisions, small appliances. The sign in the window says it opens at 9. It is 7:30 now. The windows are dark. You walk on. The street curves slightly to the left, and the buildings lean in closer. The sidewalk narrows. You pass a doorway where someone has left a pair of felt boots, valanki, to dry. They are gray and stiff with salt stains. The door itself is painted green, though the paint is peeling near the bottom where boots have kicked it over the years. Above the door, a small metal plaque bears a number, 47. The plaque is old, pre-war perhaps, with raised numerals that have been painted over many times. The current paint is white, but you can see traces of black underneath where the white has chipped away. You hear a door open somewhere behind you, then close again. Footsteps. A woman in a dark coat passes you without looking up. She carries a string bag in one hand and a thermos in the other. Her headscarf is tied tightly under her chin. She walks quickly, her breath visible in the cold air, and turns into a side street before you can see her face clearly. The side street she took is narrow, barely wide enough for a single car. You follow it. The buildings here are even older. Some have wooden shutters on the upper windows, painted blue or green, though the paint is faded and cracked. One shutter hangs crooked, held by a single hinge. The ground floor windows are covered with iron grills, and behind the grills you can see curtains, some drawn, some open to reveal dark interiors. In one window, a lamp is on. You can see the edge of a table, a chair, a shelf with books. The lamp has a green glass shade. The light it casts is warm and small. At the end of the side street is a courtyard. You step through an archway into it. The courtyard is enclosed on all sides by buildings. The ground is paved with uneven stones, and in the center is a single tree, a linden, bare now, its branches black against the gray sky. Around the base of the tree, the stones are darker, stained by years of fallen leaves. There are wooden benches along one wall, their slats warped and splitting. On one bench, someone has left a newspaper, folded and damp. The headline is about grain production in Kazakhstan. The date is 2 days old. In one corner of the courtyard is a communal trash bin, a large metal container with a hinged lid. The lid is propped open. You can see the tops of bottles, a broken chair leg, a bundle of rags. The smell is faint but unmistakable. Rotting vegetables, ash, something sour. Near the bin, a cat sits on the stones, watching you. It is gray and thin, with a torn ear. It does not move as you pass. On the far side of the courtyard, a door opens. A man steps out. He is older, perhaps 60, with a flat cap and a wool coat that reaches his knees. He carries a bucket in one hand. He walks to the bin, lifts the lid higher, and empties the bucket. You hear the clatter of glass. He closes the lid, wipes his hands on his coat, and goes back inside without looking at you. The door closes with a soft thud. You leave the courtyard through another archway on the opposite side. This one leads to a different street, wider than the last, with tram tracks running down the center. The tracks are embedded in the pavement, and the pavement around them is cracked and uneven. You can see where the tram wheels have worn grooves into the metal. The street is empty now, but you can hear the faint hum of a tram somewhere in the distance, growing louder. You wait. The tram appears around a bend. It is red and white, with a rounded front and large windows. The windows are fogged from the inside. You can see shapes, people standing, holding the overhead straps, swaying slightly as the tram moves. The tram slows as it approaches, the wheels screeching against the tracks. It stops in front of you. The doors open with a pneumatic hiss. Warm air spills out, carrying the smell of wet wool and tobacco. A few people step off. 2 women, an older man with a briefcase. They move past you without speaking. You do not board. The doors close and the tram pulls away, the hum fading as it disappears down the street. You walk along the tracks. The buildings here are taller, 5, 6 stories, with balconies stacked one above the other. Some balconies are enclosed with glass. Others are open, cluttered with boxes, bicycles, rolled carpets. On one balcony, laundry hangs on a line. Shirts, towels, a pair of trousers. The fabric is stiff with cold. On another, a man stands smoking. He leans against the railing, looking down at the street. He does not see you. Or, if he does not acknowledge it. He finishes his cigarette, flicks it over the railing, and goes back inside. The cigarette lands on the pavement a few meters ahead of you, still glowing faintly. You pass it without stopping. The ember dies as you walk. The street curves slightly to the left, following the line of the tram tracks. The pavement is uneven here, cracked in places, patched with darker asphalt that has settled lower than the original surface. Your footsteps sound different on the patches, duller. You pass a row of shops, all closed. A bakery, a pharmacy, a repair shop for household appliances. The windows are dark. In the bakery window, a sign is taped to the glass. Handwritten, the ink faded. You cannot read it from this angle. The pharmacy has metal grills pulled down over the door. Through the gaps, you can see shelves, bottles, boxes stacked behind the counter. A single light burns somewhere in the back, very dim, perhaps left on by accident. Ahead, the street opens into a small square. Not a square in the formal sense, just a widening of the road where several streets meet. In the center stands a kiosk, a small structure of wood and metal painted green. The paint is peeling. The kiosk is closed, shuttered with a rolling metal door. On the side facing you, someone has scratched initials into the paint. Cyrillic letters, large and crude. Beside the kiosk, a bench. 2 people sit there, a man and a woman, both middle-aged, both wearing heavy coats. They sit close together, not speaking. The woman holds a string bag on her lap. The man has his hands in his pockets. They do not look at you as you pass. They are looking at nothing in particular, just sitting. You cross the square. On the far side, a bus stop, a simple shelter, 3 walls and a roof, open to the street. Inside, a woman waits alone. She is young, perhaps 25, wearing a dark coat and a knitted hat pulled low over her ears. She shifts her weight from one foot to the other. Her breath rises in small clouds. She glances down the street, then at her watch, then down the street again. No bus comes. She pulls her coat tighter and looks at her watch once more. You continue past the shelter. The street narrows again. The buildings here are older, pre-war perhaps. The facades are stucco, painted in pale colors that have faded to near gray. Some of the stucco has fallen away, exposing the brick beneath. The windows are tall and narrow with wooden frames. In one window, a light is on. You can see the edge of a table, a chair, a corner of wallpaper with a floral pattern. A shadow moves across the room, someone walking past the window, but you do not see the person, just the shadow. The street slopes downward slightly. You feel it in your legs. The air is colder here, settling in the low places. You pass a courtyard entrance, an archway cut through the building, leading to an interior space you cannot see. The archway is dark. From inside, you hear a sound. Metal scraping on concrete. Then silence. Then the sound again. Someone is moving something. A gate, perhaps, or a piece of furniture. You do not stop to look. Further along, a cat crosses the street ahead of you. It moves quickly, low to the ground, and disappears into a gap between two buildings. You reach the spot where it vanished. The gap is narrow, barely wide enough for a person to walk through sideways. You can see a sliver of the courtyard beyond, a patch of dirt, a rusted bicycle frame leaning against a wall. You do not enter. You keep walking. The tram tracks continue beside you, parallel to the street. They gleam faintly under the streetlights. You hear a sound in the distance, the hum of another tram approaching from behind. You step to the side, closer to the buildings. The tram passes, older than the last one, the paint more faded, the windows fogged with condensation. Inside, a handful of passengers, a woman reading a newspaper, a man asleep, his head against the window, a young couple standing near the door holding the overhead straps. The tram moves past, and the sound fades again. The street is quiet once more. You walk on. The buildings give way on the right side to a low wall, waist-high, made of concrete. Beyond the wall, a park, or what was once a park. Trees, bare and black against the sky. Benches, some intact, some broken. A path winds through the space, disappearing into shadow. You do not see anyone inside. The gate is open, but you do not enter. You follow the wall instead, staying on the street. The wall ends at a corner. You turn left, following the street as it curves slightly. The pavement here is uneven, slabs of concrete tilted at angles, gaps between them filled with gravel and dirt. You step carefully. The buildings on this block are lower, only 3 or 4 stories. The facades are simpler, less ornamentation. Plaster over brick, painted in pale colors that have faded to near gray. Some of the ground floors are shops, their windows dark. A bakery, you can see the word painted on the glass, white letters on a green background. The window display is empty, a hardware store next to it, the window filled with tools hung on pegboard. Hammers, wrenches, coils of rope, all still, all waiting for morning. You pass a doorway set back from the street. The door is wooden, painted brown, the paint peeling near the bottom. Above the door, a small lamp in a metal cage. The bulb is out. You glance inside the shallow alcove. There is a mailbox mounted on the wall, metal, painted the same brown as the door. Slots for several apartments. You do not stop. You continue walking. Ahead, the street widens slightly. There is a small square, not a square exactly, more an open space where 2 streets meet. In the center, a low concrete planter, circular, filled with dirt. No plants, just dirt, hard and dry. Around the planter, a few benches, metal frames, wooden slats. One of the benches is occupied. A man sits there alone. He wears a dark coat, a wool cap pulled low. His hands are in his pockets. He is not moving. You cannot see his face clearly from this distance. You walk past the edge of the square, keeping to the street. He does not look up. On the far side of the square, a kiosk. Small, square, made of metal and glass, the kind that sells newspapers, cigarettes, small items. The metal shutters are pulled down and locked. A padlock hangs from the latch. The glass is covered from the inside with posters, advertisements, announcements, all overlapping. You cannot read them in the dim light. You walk past. The street narrows again. The buildings close in. You are walking through a corridor of concrete and brick. The windows above are dark. Some have curtains drawn. Some are bare. In one window, on the second floor, a faint glow. Perhaps a lamp left on in a back room, the light spilling through a doorway. You watch it for a moment as you walk. It does not change. You hear a sound behind you. Footsteps. Not hurried, but steady. You do not turn around. The footsteps continue for a few seconds, then stop. You keep walking. The sound does not resume. You glance back over your shoulder. The street behind you is empty. Whoever it was has turned off, or entered a building, or stopped. You face forward again. The air smells different here. Smoke, yes, but also something else. Damp concrete. Old plaster. The smell of buildings that have stood for decades, absorbing the weather, the seasons, the years. You breathe it in. It is not unpleasant. It is simply the smell of the place. You pass another doorway. This one is open, not wide, just slightly ajar. You slow your pace. You can see a narrow hallway inside, lit by a single bulb hanging from the ceiling. The walls are painted green, the paint chipped and stained. A staircase rises at the far end of the hallway. You hear nothing from inside. You do not enter. You walk on. The street curves again, gently to the right. You follow it. The buildings here are taller again, 5, 6 stories. The ground floors are residential. No shops, just doorways evenly spaced, each one identical. Brown doors, small windows beside them covered with metal grills. You count them as you pass. 1, 2, 3, 4. At the 5th doorway, you stop. You look up. The building rises above you, the windows stacked in neat rows. Most are dark. On the 4th floor, one window is lit. The curtain is open. You can see the edge of a room inside. A wall, a corner of a ceiling, a light fixture. Nothing more. You lower your gaze and continue walking. The pavement beneath your feet is uneven here. The concrete slabs have shifted over time, settling at different angles. Some are cracked. You step over a gap where 2 slabs meet, the space between them filled with dirt and small stones. The street is narrower now. The buildings on either side seem closer, their facades leaning slightly inward, though this may be only the effect of the darkness and the angle of your gaze. You pass another doorway. The door is closed. Beside it, mounted on the wall, is a small metal box, a mailbox painted blue. The paint faded to gray in places. The slot is narrow. You can see scratches around it where keys have missed their mark over the years. Above the mailbox, a small plaque with apartment numbers, white letters on black. You do not stop to read them. The air smells faintly of coal smoke now, stronger than before. It drifts down from the chimneys above, settling in the street. You breathe it in. It is not unpleasant. It is the smell of warmth, of stoves lit against the cold. You think of the rooms above you, the small kitchens, the pots on the burners, the steam rising. You do not see them. You only smell the smoke. Ahead, the street opens slightly. The buildings pull back just a little, and there is a small courtyard on your left. It is not a park. It is simply a space between buildings, paved with the same concrete slabs as the street. In the center stands a single bench, wooden slats on a metal frame. The wood is dark with age and weather. No one sits there now. Beside the bench, a metal pole rises from the ground, topped with a single light. The bulb is lit but dim. It casts a weak circle of yellow light onto the pavement below. Beyond the circle, the courtyard fades into shadow. You step into the courtyard. Your footsteps echo slightly, the sound bouncing off the walls of the surrounding buildings. You walk to the bench and stop beside it. You do not sit. You look around. The buildings here are 4 stories tall. The windows are dark, except for 2 on the second floor of the building to your right. Behind those windows, you see the flicker of a television screen, blue and white, changing every few seconds. You cannot see the people watching, only the light. You turn and walk back to the street. The courtyard is behind you now. The buildings close in again. You continue walking. The street slopes downward, gently. You feel the change in your legs, the slight shift in your weight as you descend. The pavement is smoother here, newer perhaps, or simply less worn. Your footsteps are quieter. You pass a row of garages. They are built into the ground floor of a building, 5 of them side by side, each with a metal door painted green. The doors are closed. The paint is peeling. On one door, someone has scratched a word into the metal with a sharp object. You cannot read it in the darkness. You do not stop to try. The street levels out again. You are walking on flat ground now. The buildings here are lower, 3 stories, perhaps 4. The facades are simpler, less ornamented. Plain brick, plain concrete. The windows are small and square. You see no balconies. The street is silent. You hear only your own footsteps and the distant hum of the city, a low, constant sound that never quite disappears. Ahead, on your right, you see another shop. The window is lit, but the light is dim. You approach. The window is small, divided into 4 panes by a wooden frame. Behind the glass, you see shelves stacked with cans and jars. The labels are faded, the colors muted. You cannot read the words from where you stand. In the corner of the window, a handwritten sign on cardboard. The letters are large and uneven, written in blue ink. You step closer. The sign says, "Closed." You step back. You continue walking. The street curves again, this time to the left. You follow it. The buildings on your left give way to a low wall, waist-high, made of concrete. Beyond the wall, you see a small patch of ground, unpaved, covered with dirt and sparse grass. In the center of the patch stands a single tree, bare of leaves. Its branches reach upward, black against the dark sky. You cannot tell what kind of tree it is. You walk past it. The wall ends. The buildings resume. You are walking between them again, the street narrow and straight. The pavement is cracked here, more so than before. You step carefully, avoiding the larger cracks. The air is colder now. You feel it on your face, on your hands. You pull your coat tighter, though it does not help much. You pass a doorway on your right. The door is metal, painted green, though the paint has flaked away in places, revealing rust beneath. There is no handle, only a keyhole. Above the door, a small lamp is mounted to the wall, its glass cover yellowed and dim. The light it gives is weak, barely reaching the pavement. You do not stop. You continue walking. The street ahead is darker than the section you have just passed through. The street lamps are farther apart here, or some of them are not working. You cannot tell which. The buildings on either side are taller now, 5 stories, perhaps 6. Their windows are dark, most of them. A few show light behind curtains, pale and orange, the glow of incandescent bulbs. You do not see movement in any of them. You hear a sound behind you. Footsteps. You do not turn around. The footsteps are steady, not hurried, not slow. They grow louder, then pass you. A man walks by on your left. He is wearing a dark coat, a fur hat with ear flaps tied up over the crown. He does not look at you. He walks ahead, his hands in his pockets, his breath visible in the cold air. You watch him for a moment. He reaches the next corner and turns left, disappearing from view. You are alone again. The pavement beneath your feet is uneven. You feel it through the soles of your shoes, the slight rise and fall with each step. In some places, the concrete has crumbled at the edges, leaving gaps where dirt shows through. You step over one such gap. Ahead, the street widens slightly. On your right, a low building appears, different from the residential blocks. It is only 2 stories tall, with large windows on the ground floor, covered with metal grills. The windows are dark. Above the entrance, there's a sign, but you cannot read it from this distance. You walk closer. The sign is made of metal letters, bolted to the wall. It says, "Repair Workshop. Closed." You stop in front of the entrance. The door is wooden, painted brown, with a small window at eye level. You look through the window. Inside, you see shapes in the darkness, workbenches, tools hanging on the wall, the outline of a lathe or some other machine. You cannot see clearly. You step back. You continue walking. The street curves again, gently to the right. You follow it. The buildings on your left are set back from the pavement now, separated by a narrow strip of ground, unpaved, covered with patches of snow that have not yet melted. The snow is gray, mixed with dirt. You see footprints in it, many of them, crossing in different directions. You do not know how old they are. The air smells faintly of coal smoke, stronger now than before. You breathe it in. It is not unpleasant, only familiar, the smell of winter in the city. You pass another doorway. This one is open. Not wide, just slightly ajar. You slow your pace. You look at the door. It is wooden, painted blue, the paint chipped and faded. Beyond the door, you see a narrow hallway lit by a single bulb hanging from the ceiling. The walls of the hallway are painted green, the paint old and peeling. You do not see anyone inside. You do not hear anything. You walk past the door. It remains open behind you. The street ahead is straight now, stretching into the distance. The buildings on either side are uniform, identical in height and design, their facades flat and unadorned. You count the windows as you walk. 5 windows per floor, 6 floors per building. The windows are small, square, evenly spaced. Most are dark. A few show light. You do not see faces in any of them. You walk beneath one of the buildings. Above you, a balcony juts out from the 3rd floor, its railing made of metal, painted white. Laundry hangs from the railing. A sheet, a towel, a pair of trousers. The fabric is stiff, frozen in the cold air. You walk past it. You hear a sound to your left, a door opening. You turn your head. A woman steps out from one of the buildings. She is wearing a long coat, dark, and a scarf wrapped around her head. She carries a bag in one hand, made of cloth, bulging with something inside. She does not look at you. She turns right and walks in the opposite direction, her footsteps quick and light. You watch her until she reaches the corner and turns, disappearing from view. You are alone again. The street is quiet. You continue walking. You pass another building. This one has a small shop on the ground floor. The window is dark, but you can see shapes inside. Shelves, a counter, something hanging from the ceiling. A sign above the door, metal letters bolted to the concrete. Product. Products. A general store. The door is locked. A piece of paper is taped to the inside of the glass. You cannot read what it says from here. You move closer. The paper is yellowed, the ink faded. It lists hours. The shop opens at 8 in the morning. It is not yet 6. You step back from the window. Your breath fogs the glass for a moment, then clears. You turn and continue down the street. The pavement here is uneven. One of the concrete slabs has shifted, tilted upward at one edge. You step over it carefully. Ahead, the street curves slightly to the left. You follow the curve. The buildings on your right give way to a low wall, waist-high, made of brick. Beyond the wall, you see a courtyard. It is small, enclosed on 3 sides by the backs of buildings. In the center of the courtyard, there is a wooden bench. The wood is dark, wet from the snow. No one is sitting on it. Near the bench, a metal pole rises from the ground. At the top of the pole, a clothesline stretches across to another pole on the far side of the courtyard. Nothing hangs from the line now. It sways slightly in the wind, a thin black thread against the gray sky. You keep walking. The street widens. On your left, another building. This one is taller, 5 stories. The ground floor has a different entrance, larger, with double doors painted green. Above the doors, a red banner hangs from the second-floor windows. The fabric is heavy, canvas or something similar. White letters are printed on it, Cyrillic, large and bold. You cannot make out all the words from this angle, but you see part of it. Slava. Glory. The banner is still. There is no wind strong enough to move it. You pass the building. The street narrows again. You are walking between 2 rows of buildings now, close together, the space between them no more than 15 meters. The snow here is deeper. It has drifted against the walls, piled up in uneven mounds. You walk in the center of the street, where the snow is thinner, packed down by footsteps. You see the tracks of others who have walked here before you. Some are fresh, the edges still sharp. Others are older, half filled with new snow, softened by time. You hear a sound behind you, a scraping sound, metal on concrete. You stop and turn. A man is standing at the corner you just passed. He is holding a shovel. He is clearing the snow from the pavement in front of one of the buildings. He works slowly, methodically, pushing the shovel forward, lifting the snow, tossing it to the side. He is wearing a heavy coat, dark blue, and a fur hat with ear flaps tied under his chin. He does not look up. He does not see you. You watch him for a moment, then turn and continue walking. The street ahead is empty. You walk for another minute, maybe 2. The buildings on either side are the same as before, concrete, gray, identical. You pass another entrance. The door is closed. A small window beside the door, square, with frosted glass. You cannot see through it. You pass another balcony. This one has no laundry. A bicycle leans against the railing, its frame rusted, the tires flat. It has been there for some time. You reach an intersection. The street you are on meets another, crossing at a right angle. You stop at the corner. To your left, the street continues, straight, lined with more buildings. To your right, the same. Ahead, across the intersection, the street continues as well. You look in all directions. There is no one, no cars, no movement. You choose to go straight. You step off the curb and cross the intersection. The snow here is thicker, untouched. Your boots sink deeper with each step. You reach the other side and step back onto the pavement. You continue walking. The sky is lighter now. Not bright, but less dark. The buildings are easier to see. You can make out more details. The texture of the concrete, the lines where the panels meet, the small cracks that run along the edges. You pass another shop. This one has no sign. The window is covered from the inside with brown paper. You cannot see in. The door is locked. You walk past it. The street curves slightly here, bending to the left. You follow the curve. The buildings on either side are the same height, the same color, the same design. You have been walking for some time now, and you realize you have not seen a single person. Not one. The city is empty. You wonder where everyone is. You wonder if they are all inside, sleeping, or if they are somewhere else, somewhere you cannot see. You do not know. You keep walking. The snow has stopped falling. The air is still. You can hear your own breathing, steady and even. You can hear the crunch of your boots on the snow. Nothing else. Ahead, on your right, you see a small park. It is not large, just a patch of open space between the buildings. There are benches covered in snow. There are trees, bare and black against the pale sky. You walk toward it. You step off the pavement and onto the snow-covered ground. It is softer here, deeper. You walk between the benches. The snow on them is smooth, undisturbed. No one has sat here tonight. No one has been here at all. You walk to the center of the park and stop. You turn slowly, looking around. The buildings surround you on all sides. They are tall, dark, silent. The windows are like eyes, watching but not seeing. You stand there for a moment, listening. There is no sound, no wind, no voices, no distant hum of traffic, just silence. You walk back to the pavement and continue down the street. The curve straightens out. The street is long and straight again. You pass more buildings, more shops, more locked doors, more dark windows. You pass a bus stop. The shelter is small, made of metal and glass. The glass is dirty, streaked with grime. Inside the shelter there is a bench. On the bench there is a newspaper, folded and left behind. You do not stop to look at it. You keep walking. The sky is lighter now. You can see the horizon, a thin line of pale gray where the sky meets the rooftops. Dawn is coming, but it is not here yet. The city is still caught between night and morning, suspended in this quiet, empty hour. You pass a building with a red star on its facade. The star is made of metal, painted red, mounted above the entrance. The paint is faded, chipped in places. The building itself is larger than the others, wider, with more windows. You do not know what it is. An office, perhaps. A government building. You do not stop to look. You keep walking. Your legs are tired now. You have been walking for a long time, but you do not stop. There is nowhere to stop. Nowhere to go but forward. The street begins to slope downward, gently. You walk down the slope. The buildings on either side are lower here, only 4 or 5 stories tall. You pass a courtyard, open to the street. Inside the courtyard there are more benches, more trees, more snow. There is a playground. You can see the shapes of swings, a slide, a climbing frame, all covered in snow. The playground is empty, silent. You walk past it. The street levels out again. You are walking through a different part of the city now. The buildings are older here. The concrete is darker, more weathered. The windows are smaller. You pass a building with a balcony. On the balcony, there is a clothesline strung between two posts. There are no clothes on it, just the line, sagging slightly under the weight of the snow. You walk on. The sky is lighter still. You can see the buildings more clearly now. You can see the details, the cracks, the stains, the places where the plaster has fallen away to reveal the brick beneath. You can see the snow on the rooftops, thick and white. You can see the icicles hanging from the eaves, long and sharp. You walk past another shop. This one has a sign. The letters are Cyrillic, painted in white on a red background. You cannot read them. You do not know what the shop sells. The window is dark. The door is locked. You walk past it. The street curves slightly to the left. You follow it. The snow beneath your feet is deeper here, less disturbed. Fewer people have walked this way. You can see your breath more clearly now in the growing light. It hangs in the air for a moment before dissolving. The cold has settled into your bones. You flex your fingers inside your gloves. They are stiff. Ahead, there is a courtyard. The entrance is an archway wide enough for a truck. You step through it. The courtyard is square, enclosed on all sides by the same gray buildings. In the center, there is a playground. A swing set, the chains rusted. A slide, the metal dull. A wooden seesaw, one end buried in the snow. No children. The playground is empty. The snow on the slide is undisturbed. You can see the pattern of the wind in it, the small ridges and valleys. Against one wall, there are wooden benches. They are covered in snow. Next to the benches, there is a rack for beating carpets. It is made of metal pipes welded together. The paint is peeling. You have seen these racks before in other courtyards. Women bring their carpets here in the spring and summer, drape them over the pipes, and beat the dust out with woven beaters. Now it stands empty, a skeleton against the wall. You cross the courtyard. Your footsteps are the only sound. The buildings around you are silent. A few windows are lit, but most are dark. You wonder who is awake at this hour. A shift worker, perhaps, preparing for the early tram. An old woman who cannot sleep. A student bent over a desk, memorizing something for an exam. You cannot see them. You can only see the light. On the far side of the courtyard, there is another archway. You pass through it. You are on a different street now, narrower. The buildings here are older, 5 stories instead of 9. The facades are more ornate. There are decorative moldings above the windows, though many are cracked or missing. There are balconies with wrought iron railings, rusted and bent. This part of the city was built before the war, before the revolution even. The buildings have survived. They have been repaired, patched, painted over, but they have survived. You walk slowly. The light is stronger now. The sky is no longer black. It is a deep blue, fading to gray at the edges. You can see the outlines of the rooftops against it. You can see the chimneys, the antennas, the water towers. You can see the smoke rising from a few of the chimneys, thin and pale. Someone is awake. Someone is lighting a stove. You pass a doorway. The door is wooden, painted green. The paint is chipped. There is a small window in the door, covered with a curtain. Next to the door, there is a row of mailboxes, metal, each with a number. Some of the doors on the mailboxes are hanging open. Some are missing entirely. You walk past. The street opens into a small square. In the center, there is a statue, a man on a pedestal. He is wearing a long coat. One arm is raised, pointing forward. You do not know who he is. The pedestal is covered in snow. The statue itself is dark, the bronze or iron stained by decades of weather. Around the base there are footprints. Someone has walked around it recently. You do not follow them. You cross the square. On the other side there is a kiosk. It is closed. The metal shutters are pulled down and locked. There is a small sign on the shutter. You cannot read it. Next to the kiosk there is a bench. On the bench there is a man. He is sitting very still. He is wearing a heavy coat, dark, and a fur hat. His hands are in his pockets. His head is tilted forward slightly. You cannot see his face. You do not know if he is asleep or simply waiting. You do not approach. You walk past, keeping your distance. The street continues. You follow it. The buildings are taller again here. 9 stories, 10. The windows are uniform, identical. You can see the pattern repeating, floor after floor. Some windows have curtains. Some do not. Some have plants on the sills, though you cannot tell if they are alive or dead. Some have nothing. You walk past a bus stop. There is a shelter, 3 walls, and a roof made of metal and glass. Inside there is a bench. On the bench there is a woman. She is sitting with her hands folded in her lap. She is wearing a dark coat and a scarf tied under her chin. She does not look at you. She is looking at the street, waiting. You do not know when the bus will come. You do not know where she is going. You walk past. The street curves slightly to the left. You follow the curve. The pavement is uneven here. There are patches where the asphalt has been repaired, darker squares laid over older surfaces. The seams are visible. Your footsteps change tone as you cross from one patch to another. Ahead, there is a small park. Not a park exactly, a space between buildings. There are trees, bare branches against the sky. There are benches, painted green, the paint flaking. There is a low fence, waist-high, made of metal bars. You can see through it. Inside the space, there is a path. It is paved with concrete slabs. Some of the slabs are cracked. Weeds grow in the cracks, though they are brown now, dead for the season. You walk along the fence. There is a gate. It is open. You could enter, but you do not. You continue along the street. There is a smell now, faint. Coal smoke, yes, but something else beneath it. Something organic. Rotting vegetables, perhaps, or wet cardboard. It is not strong, but it is there. You cannot tell where it is coming from. A dumpster, maybe, somewhere behind one of the buildings, or a basement vent. The smell fades as you walk. The street widens slightly. There is more space between the buildings here. On your right, there is a low structure. 1 story. Brick. The windows are small, set high in the walls. There is a sign above the door, but you cannot read it from this angle. The door is closed. There is no light inside. You walk past. A man is walking toward you. He is alone. He is wearing a dark coat, unbuttoned, and a flat cap. His hands are in his pockets. He is walking quickly, his head down. He does not look at you. You step slightly to the side to let him pass. He passes. His footsteps fade behind you. You continue. The street is empty again. There's a sound in the distance. A dog barking. 2 barks, then silence. Then 2 more, then nothing. You cannot tell how far away it is. Sound carries strangely at night. You walk. There's a building on your left, taller than the others. 12 stories, perhaps. The ground floor is different. There are large windows, though they are dark. There is a recessed entrance, a few steps leading down. There is a sign, but you cannot read it. The letters are Cyrillic. You do not know what the building is. An office, perhaps, or a ministry, or something else. The entrance is locked. There is a chain across the steps. You walk past. The next building is residential again. The same pattern, the same windows, the same balconies. Some have laundry hanging, frozen stiff. Some have bicycles leaning against the railings. Some have nothing. You pass another courtyard entrance. This one is lit. There is a single bulb above the archway. It casts a yellow circle on the ground. You can see into the courtyard. There are more buildings inside, arranged around a central space. There is a playground. You can see the shapes of swings, a slide, a climbing frame. They are still. There is no one there. The courtyard is silent. You walk past. The light fades behind you. The street continues. You follow it. There is a tram stop ahead. You can see the sign, a white square with a red symbol. There is no shelter here, just the sign and a small bench. The bench is empty. The tram tracks run down the center of the street, two parallel lines of metal. They gleam faintly in the streetlight. You walk beside them. Your footsteps echo slightly. The buildings on either side seem to lean in, though they do not. It is only the angle of the light. There is a sound, a door closing. You turn your head. Behind you, someone has come out of one of the buildings. You cannot see them clearly. Just a shape moving away from you toward the other end of the street. They are walking quickly. They disappear around a corner. You turn back. The street is empty again. You walk. The cold is deeper now. You can feel it in your fingers, even in your pockets. You can feel it in your face. Your breath is visible. Small clouds that dissipate quickly. You walk past another building, another entrance, another set of windows. The pattern repeats. You do not count them anymore. You simply walk. You reach a corner. The street bends slightly to the left. You follow it. The pavement here is uneven. You feel it through your shoes. Small rises, small dips. The concrete has settled differently in different places. There are cracks, not large ones, just lines, thin and dark, running across the surface. Some of them have been filled with tar. The tar is black and smooth. It catches the light differently than the concrete. You notice these things because there is little else to notice. The street is quiet. The buildings are the same. The windows are the same. The light is the same. You pass another entrance. The door is metal. It is painted green, though the paint has faded. There are scratches near the handle. Small marks where keys have missed, where hands have pushed too hard. The handle itself is worn smooth. You can see this even from the street. You do not stop. You keep walking. Your breath comes steadily in, out, in, out. Each breath is a small cloud. Each cloud fades. The rhythm is constant. It is something to hold on to. There is a sound ahead. Not loud. A scraping sound. Metal on concrete. You slow slightly. You look. At the edge of the street, near the curb, there is a trash bin. Someone is moving it. You cannot see who. Just a figure, bent slightly, pushing the bin a few feet to the side. The bin scrapes. The sound is harsh in the quiet. Then it stops. The figure straightens. They do not look at you. They turn and walk back toward a doorway. The door opens. Light spills out for a moment. Yellow light, warmer than the streetlights. Then the door closes. The light is gone. The bin remains where it was moved. You walk past it. It smells faintly of old food, of something sour. The smell fades as you move away. The street continues. You continue. There is a rhythm to this. The walking, the breathing, the cold. It is not unpleasant. It is simply what it is. You are aware of your body, your legs moving, your arms swinging slightly at your sides, your shoulders slightly hunched against the cold, your face numb now in places, your nose, your cheeks. You do not touch them. You simply notice. Another building, another entrance. This one has a small overhang above the door, concrete, extending perhaps a meter out from the wall. It casts a shadow. The shadow is darker than the rest of the street. You walk through it. For a moment, the light changes. Then you are past it. The light returns. The same pale yellow. The same long shadows. You hear a sound. A window opening. You look up. On the third floor, a window has been pushed outward. A hand appears. It shakes something. A rug, perhaps, or a small mat. Dust falls. You can see it in the light, small particles drifting down. The hand shakes the object again. More dust. Then the hand withdraws. The window closes. The sound of it closing is sharp, a single note, then silence again. The dust continues to fall for a moment. Then it is gone. Settled somewhere. On the pavement, on the snow, on the air itself. You walk. The cold is deeper now. You can feel it in your chest when you breathe. Not painful, just present. A tightness, a reminder. You pull your coat tighter. It does not help much. The cold is not something you can keep out entirely. It finds its way in, through the fabric, through the gaps, through the air itself. You accept this. You keep walking. There is a bench ahead. You see it at the edge of the sidewalk. It is wooden. The wood is dark, weathered. The slats are worn smooth in the center, rougher at the edges. There is snow on it. Not much, a thin layer. No one has sat here recently. You do not sit. You walk past. The bench remains, empty, waiting. The street curves again, gently. You follow the curve. The buildings here are the same as before, the same height, the same color, the same windows, but they are not identical. Small differences. A balcony on one, a different style of door on another, a window with curtains drawn, another with curtains open. These differences are small. You notice them because you are looking. Because there is time to look, you hear your own footsteps. They are the loudest sound. Each step is distinct, the sole of your shoe on the pavement. A soft sound, but clear. You listen to it. It is steady. It is reliable. It marks time. Each step is a moment. Each moment passes. You walk through them. The light from the street lamps continues. It does not change. It does not flicker. It simply is. Constant. You walk beneath it. Your shadow moves with you, long and thin. It stretches ahead of you, then falls behind as you pass each lamp. Then it stretches ahead again. This pattern repeats. You do not think about it. You simply see it. You pass another building. This one has a small courtyard visible through an iron gate. The gate is painted black. The paint is old. You can see rust at the edges where the paint has worn away. Through the bars, you see a bicycle leaning against a wall. It is chained. The chain is thick. The bicycle is old. The frame is dark green. The seat is cracked. No one is there. The courtyard is empty. You continue walking. The air is still cool. You feel it on your face, on your hands. It is not uncomfortable. It is simply present. You breathe it in. It smells faintly of coal smoke. Always coal smoke. It is the smell of winter here, of heating, of survival. You do not think about it consciously anymore. It is simply part of the air, part of the night. You walk through it. Another street lamp ahead. You approach it. The pool of light grows larger as you near it. You step into it. The light is yellow. It falls on your coat, on your hands. You look at your hands for a moment. They are pale in this light. The lines on your palms are visible. You lower them. You continue walking. The light falls behind you. Your shadow stretches forward again, long and thin. It moves with you. You hear a sound, distant, a door closing. You stop. You listen. The sound does not repeat. You wait. Nothing. You begin walking again. Your footsteps resume their rhythm, steady, reliable, the sound of your own movement. You are aware of it. You are aware of the silence around it. The silence is not empty. It is full, full of absence, full of the things that are not happening, the conversations that are not being had, the music that is not being played, the laughter that is not being heard. All of this is present in the silence. You feel it. You pass a bench. It is wooden. The wood is dark, worn smooth by years of use, by years of people sitting, waiting, resting. No one sits there now. The bench is empty. You do not sit. You continue walking. The bench remains behind you, empty, waiting. The buildings continue, one after another. They are all similar, all built in the same years, all designed with the same principles: efficiency, uniformity, function. They do not try to be beautiful. They do not try to be unique. They simply are. They house people. They provide shelter. They fulfill their purpose. You walk past them. You do not judge them. You simply see them. They are part of the landscape, part of the city, part of the night. You notice a window on the third floor of a building. The curtains are drawn, but there is light behind them. A warm light, yellow, softer than the street lamps. You imagine someone inside, reading, perhaps, or sitting at a table, drinking tea. You do not know. You cannot know. The curtains are drawn. The light is all you see. You continue walking. The window passes behind you. The light remains. Someone is awake. Someone else is moving through their own night, their own quiet hours. You are not alone in being awake, but you are alone in this street. Your breath is visible now, small clouds of vapor. They appear with each exhale. They hang in the air for a moment, then they dissipate, fade, disappear. You watch them. One breath, another, another, each one the same, each one temporary. You do not think about what this means. You simply observe it. The cold is making itself known, not harshly, not painfully, just present, a reminder. You pull your coat a little tighter. The fabric is rough under your fingers. Wool, heavy, warm. You are grateful for it. Another intersection ahead. You approach it. The street crossing yours is identical. Same width, same pavement, same street lamps. You could turn. You could walk in a different direction. You do not. You continue straight. The intersection passes. You are on the same street, moving in the same direction. The rhythm does not change. You hear your footsteps again. They have not stopped. They have been there all along. But now you notice them again. The sound of your soul on the pavement. Soft, steady, reliable. Each step is a small sound. But in this silence, it is clear. It is distinct. You listen to it. It is the sound of movement, of progress, of time passing. You are moving through space, through time, through this night. Each step takes you forward. Each step is a moment. Each moment passes. The street lamps continue, one after another. They mark your path. They light your way. They do not speak. They do not judge. They simply illuminate. You walk beneath them. Your shadow moves with you, stretches, contracts, stretches again. This pattern is constant, predictable. You do not think about it. You simply move through it. You pass another building. The windows are dark, all of them, floor after floor. No light escapes. The curtains are drawn. The glass reflects nothing. It is simply there, a surface, a boundary between inside and outside, between private and public, between warmth and cold. You do not know who lives behind those windows. You will never know. They are asleep now, or lying awake, or sitting in the dark. You cannot say. The building does not tell you. It keeps its secrets. You keep walking. The air is colder now. You notice it on your face, on your hands. The temperature has dropped. Not suddenly, gradually. So gradually that you did not notice the transition. But now it is clear. The night is deeper. The cold is sharper. You pull your coat tighter. The fabric is rough against your fingers. Wool. Heavy. It holds warmth. Not much, but enough. You are grateful for it. You do not think about where it came from, who made it, how it arrived in the store. You simply wear it. It serves its purpose. That is enough. Another street lamp, another pool of light. You passed through it. The light touches your face, your hands, the top of your head. Then it is behind you. The darkness returns. But it is not complete darkness. Your eyes have adjusted. You can see the shapes, the outlines, the edges of things, the curb, the buildings, the street stretching ahead. You do not need bright light to see. You need only enough. And there is enough. You hear a sound, faint, distant, a door closing, somewhere. You cannot tell where. The sound carries in the cold air. It reaches you, then it fades. Someone else is awake. Someone else is moving. You do not see them. You do not know them. But for a moment you are aware of them. Another person, another life, moving through the same night, in a different place, on a different street, but under the same sky, the same darkness, the same cold. You are not alone in this city. You never are, even when you see no one, even when you hear nothing. There are others, always others, behind the windows, behind the doors, in the apartments, in the rooms, living, breathing, existing. You are one among many. This thought is neither comforting nor troubling. It simply is. Your breath is visible now, small clouds. They form in front of your face. They drift. They dissolve. Each breath is a small event, a small proof. You are here. You are alive. You are moving. The cold makes this visible. In summer, your breath is invisible. But now, in this cold, it takes shape. It becomes something you can see, something tangible. You watch it for a moment. Then you stop watching. You simply breathe. In, out, in, out. The rhythm continues. It does not require your attention. Your body knows what to do. The street curves slightly, not a sharp turn, just a gentle bend. The buildings follow the curve. The street lamps follow the curve. You follow the curve. The path is set. You do not choose it. You simply follow. This is the way. This is the route. You have walked it before. You will walk it again. It is familiar, not comfortable, not uncomfortable, simply familiar. You know what comes next. Another block, another street lamp, another stretch of pavement. The pattern repeats. It has always repeated. It will continue to repeat. You think about time, how it moves, how it passes, how it accumulates. Minutes become hours. Hours become nights. Nights become weeks. Weeks become months. Months become years. You have lived through many years. You will live through more. Each night is one small piece, one small fragment, but they add up, they accumulate, they form a life. This night, this walk, this moment. It is part of that accumulation. It is part of that life. You do not think about this often, but now, in the silence, in the cold, in the darkness, you think about it. You are aware of it. Time is passing. You are passing through time. The two movements are the same. Another building, another dark window, another closed door. The city is a collection of closed spaces, of private spaces, of spaces you cannot enter. You walk through the public space, the street, the sidewalk, the space between buildings. This is your domain. This is where you are permitted. You do not resent this. You do not question it. It is simply how things are, how they have always been. You walk, you move, you continue. The night continues with you. You are nearing the end of your walk. You can feel it. Not because you have reached a destination. There is no destination, but because the night has a shape, a rhythm, and you have moved through most of it. The cold is deeper now. The silence is deeper. The darkness is deeper. Everything has deepened. You have been walking for hours. Your legs know it. Your feet know it. Your body knows it. But you are not tired. Not in the way that demands rest. You are tired in the way that comes from being awake when the world is asleep. A different kind of tired. A tired that is almost peaceful. You pass a final tram stop. The shelter is empty. The bench is empty. The schedule board is unreadable in the darkness. You do not stop. You do not sit. You keep walking. The tram will not come for hours, and you do not need it. You are already where you need to be. In motion, in the night, in the cold. This is enough. A dog barks somewhere far away. A single bark, then silence. Then another bark. Then silence again. You cannot see the dog. You cannot see where the sound is coming from. It is just there, in the darkness. A small sound in a large silence. You listen. You wait. The dog does not bark again. The silence returns. Complete, unbroken. You think about tomorrow, about the morning, about the light, about the noise, about the people, about the return of the ordinary world. It will come. It always comes. The night does not last. It never lasts. But for now, it is still here. And you are still here. And that is enough. You turn a corner. The street ahead is long, straight, empty. The buildings on either side are identical. The same height, the same shape, the same dark windows, the same closed doors. You have seen this street before, or one like it. They are all like this. Variations on a theme, repetitions, echoes. The city repeats itself, over and over, block after block, street after street, building after building, and you repeat yourself, step after step, breath after breath, moment after moment. You are almost home. You know this without thinking about it. Your body knows the distance. Your feet know the way. You do not need to count the blocks. You do not need to check the street signs. You simply know. This is your city, your night, your walk. You have done this before. You will do it again. This is not the last time, but it is this time. And this time is all there is. The wind picks up, just for a moment. It moves through the street. It touches your face. It pulls at your coat. Then it is gone. The air is still again. You breathe. You walk. You continue. You think about the people sleeping in the buildings around you. Thousands of them. Tens of thousands. All sleeping, all dreaming, all unaware that you are out here, walking, moving, passing by their windows, their doors, their lives. You are a ghost to them, a shadow, a presence they will never know about, and they are the same to you. You do not know them. You will never know them, but you are connected by proximity, by the city, by the night, by the simple fact of being here at the same time, in the same place. You reach your building. You stop. You look up. The windows are dark. Your window is dark. Everything is dark. You stand there for a moment, in the cold, in the silence, in the darkness. You do not move. You do not think. You simply stand and breathe and exist. Then you move toward the door. You reach for the handle. It is cold, metal, familiar. You pull. The door opens. You step inside. The stairwell is darker than the street. Warmer, quieter. You close the door behind you. The night is outside now. You are inside. The walk is over. You climb the stairs, slowly, quietly. Your footsteps echo softly in the stairwell. You do not hurry. There is no reason to hurry. You reach your floor. You reach your door. You reach for your keys. They are cold in your pocket. You unlock the door. You step inside. You close the door. You are home. The apartment is dark, silent, cold. You do not turn on the light. Not yet. You stand in the darkness. You listen to the silence. You feel the stillness. This is the end of the walk. This is the end of the night. But it is not the end of everything. Tomorrow will come. The light will come. The noise will come. The world will come, and you will walk again. Through the streets, through the night, through the cold, through the darkness. You will walk again. But not now. Now you are home. Now you are still. Now the night is over.